edge on up, and we're going to continue here with part 2 of our CNC10 tutorial. Let's start by moving this out of the way and moving this in, and so we have here, so let's just go over the construction of this just a little bit. This is a Delrin piece here, We have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 on each side, Delrin nosed spring plungers, and that is what keeps tension on our carriage. And even when it's got a knife loaded in it, keeps it from flopping off. So these things are adjustable, but they should be adjusted correctly when you receive this unit. So they shouldn't need any further adjustment. Alright, this white piece here is what we call the edge rest. And you'll notice that it's got a V groove in it. And of course that's where the edge rests. And then the top piece, the clamping bar across the top, has got a triangular shaped piece in it too, and that's where the spine of the knife will center in. So let's do this first. You know, I talked to you about this piece here, the knife rest, being able to swivel back and forth and change our knife plane. And I want to tell you why we have to do that, and that is because we have knives with cutting edges that are relatively straight and flat, and then we have knives that are shaped like this. The cutting edge is bellied out here in the center, and then starts a fairly sharp curve upwards. So we have to be able to accommodate all these sort of different cutting edges, and that's what our knife plane adjustment allows us to do. So if you remember this knife, this is once again our $8 kitchen or grocery store knife. And we've used it in several videos now, and so let's just keep using it, and then that way you can compare data that we got with one test versus another test, so on and so forth, and maybe that'll help you make more sense of things. So let's here's how we install the knife in here and in the carriage. And of course you can see this bracket represents the back side of the carriage. So that's the direction from which we want to install the knife. And I've run that edge until I'm about to run off the back side of the edge if I shove it in any farther. So the knife is in as far as it'll go. I've got the spine sort of lined up with the triangular clamping piece at the top. I'm just tightening these screws down a bit, and of course when the edge is in the triangular shaped piece at the bottom and the spine is centered in as it is in the triangular shaped piece at the top, that automatically means that our knife is vertical. So, on to the plane leveling portion of the CNC10. So let's set that over here, and we'll slide this back in, and we'll pop this carriage off, and we're going to pop this carriage on. Now what I have in place here is an SLC slice fixture, and already situated here. And what I've done in this case is I've put a little rubber pad at the bottom of the slice fixture, and that ensures me that I'm not going to damage any edges when I do what I'm about to do. So first thing I'm going to do is run this all the way down here to the bottom. Then I'm going to loosen this screw, loosen this screw, and then just simply let the edge drop down. And I'm going to tighten this, and the adjustment is done. Now what we've just assured ourselves of is when we slice our CNC10 test media, that is going to assure me that we're going to cut all the way from the top almost clear through to the bottom. And that is true of any knife that you put in this vise. So, and adjust the plane of the cutting edge. Okay, so, and you'll notice when I did all that knife mounting, with the exception of the adjustment of the plane, I did that sitting here on my bench top, because that's the safest place to do it. And you have to remember that we're dealing with sharpened edges that are held in vices, so we want nice, stable, safe areas to do that in. So let's remove this. And I showed you our test media fixture before. And let's put it in place and get it centered up. Now we're going to snap this new carriage in place. And now of course we can't snap it in place down here, or we would have already cut through the test media. So we have to go clear back up to the top. Snap it in place, and there we are. Now that tells us that the knife edge is hovering just over the top of the test media, and it's not touching the test media though. And that is important because, and you can tell that it is not if you just do this little trick. Okay, there's our 0, and we'll hit our slice key, and we'll snap this off, and we tear it back out. And that tells us that our fixture is slightly touching these bars, so now we can tear it out. Okay, that's it. And that is an important thing to show you, because the test will not begin, the software will not allow you to begin the test unless the unit is at 0. So as it was, this was forward, these two little knobs, tightening knobs on the SLC were touching, and we get that kind of, when we move it away, then we're back to 0. Okay, so I think let's put this back on. As you can see, we're at 0. And in our next video, we're going to cut this test media. But I've got to go get my laptop and set it up here, because we're going to log the data and graph it from this test. Okay, thanks for tuning in. And when the music comes on, that means it's time to turn the lights in the sharpening room off.